Testing mic. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, I stay off the internet for basically a few hours, and it blows up. So, I don't know what to tell you. VShojo is having a falling out from obviously stealing money from its talent, like I suspected they were from the beginning. So, for several people leaving that's an entire deal. And on top of all that, Genshin drops a trailer, which a lot of us anticipated there would be a trailer. I haven't really been keeping my schedule open for it, so here it is. I will probably delay uploading other videos just to get this one out sooner. And here it is, Song of the Welcome Moon teaser, Moonlit Ballad of the Night. So this is probably going to be the character reveal trailer, and I can tell that there's a lot of names that I do not recognize and some names that I do recognize in the description, so let's start with the description of this. She scatters dewdrops upon every bloom, and tints the twilight with a sheen of silver. Thus do shadows howl across the gloomy woods, as flocks of deer and birds take I think that's a typo. It says take fright and shiver. Do you mean, is it supposed to be take flight and shiver? Whatever. She hums one nameless tune while walking through those solitary halls, so her homeland may not fall into desolation, so the tale may not be lost to oblivion. Nicole Reen of the Hexen Circle, codename N. We have a full. Did we have the full name for her before this? I don't remember. I know. The name doesn't ring a bell. Varka, we recognize. Jehoda. Inefa is the character that's going to be going live in the 3.8 patch. I saw a YouTube short of her the other day that looked really, really well done, well put together. Durin. Oh, is Durin going to be playable in? That's going to be nice. A lot of us hoped he would be after the events of Paralogism. Here we go. Fatui Harbingers. Sandrone. Fatui Harbinger, codename Marionette. Lauma. Nefer. Krill Hudomovich Fins? Moon Maiden Columbina. Ooh, Moon Maiden. That's a new title for her. Alice of the Hexen Circle, codename A. We already knew that. Albedo and Wanderer. Okay, so we're going to see some old and new faces. Just a reminder that if you want to see more content like this, I do have a playlist of basically all of my vlog-style content and reactions. You can find all of it there. I don't think I plug it that often. But the easiest way to find me and contact me and know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it would be to join the Discord, and that's when I let people know that I'm going to be going live on Twitch. Twitch.tv/sheetstreams. Links are where links are. Watch this video before you watch this reaction, but odds are if you're watching my reaction, you've already watched it. Okay, now that all the boring stuff's out of the way, let's get to the video proper. 5.5 minutes, so I do have to leave for work in 2 hours, so this shouldn't take too long.
You wish to hear a story of the moon? That tale begins long
I need to go back and listen to who voices N, because I do not remember what she sounds like.
Mister! Nafa's starting her story already!
Thanks for the heads up.
Okay, so this is Varka. We saw him in another trailer. I don't know who the girl is. I can make a guess based off the description. Nefa is probably an Nefa. Don't know who this character is. I wonder if she's part of that Corrupt Workshop thingy guild that we know about.
The moon's a long way off. We might
I
go
like
hungry,
Nefa's little TV thing. It
at
looks
least
cute.
We have plenty of time.
I saw that in one of her YouTube shorts.
Hey kid, that headpiece of yours is pretty unique. Who designed it? Could you hook me up?
Oh, it's Durin, I think. I recognize him.
In that era,
Yep.
there was no boundary between life and death.
Who's talking now? Was it N again?
Willpower flowed freely among countless beings.
Okay.
The primordial being
Ah,
that
yes.
once ruled this
Before
planet
there
made 3 moons rise from the earth.
There used to be 3 moons, but now there is only one. The frozen moon.
was not until the funerary year that the primordial voice once
That
again
guy looks like, what's his name from
cried out in the
Shadowverse.
darkness.
There's Sandrone.
Lady.
The Frostmoon Scions again. A laughably futile rebellion.
I'm really excited to
Oh,
finally see
pale
Sandrone
white
do something in the
Frostmoon.
story.
I, your loyal emissary.
She had a brief cameo in Fontaine,
and
for those who
scion
know.
of Hyperborea. Beseech
Oh, we're
you
talking about
to
the lost
cast
land of
down your
Hyperborea?
gaze from the celestial dome above.
Okay, they're aware of the
May your
firmament.
gentle tears pierce the frigid night.
We
and
saw
glimmer
this character
the
in
forsaken
that
and
preview.
your guiding light.
I didn't do a reaction to it, because it was like under a minute, and I didn't feel it was worth my time. Okay.
You didn't come here for the story, did you?
Okay, that's another robot character like a Nepha.
Finished already, huh?
No. It's just a greater
And that's still
storyteller
Varka
than
sitting on a
myself has come.
cliff, I guess. Who's this?
Beyond the moonlight's reach, an ancient shadow brandishes its hunting claws,
Interesting.
taking aim at the stars.
Are you a Lightkeeper?
You're right. I came here for the moon.
Why does it say Mondstadt? I came here for the moon? So the Frostmoon Science is having some sort of rebellion against the Fatui presence here. That's basically what I've taken away from this trailer so far, and there's going to be a bunch of factions clashing. This is going to be a very interesting story, and I love how it's going to tie into a lot of the regions and storylines that we've built up to this point. We're going to see some of the Wild Hunt.
I'm afraid you have the wrong person. Now, be gone.
Oh, this is happening in a cemetery. Okay, is this going to be Columbina? Yes. This is, I think, roughly where we saw her in the last trailer we saw her. I wonder...
The future mirrors the past.
That's what...
The veil
Didn't
of
Mona say that
light
at one point?
Is slipping. Time is short. The moon's fall is nigh.
Oh, that's not good. The moon is about to fall. So it's very interesting that the description labeled her Moon Maiden. I'll talk more about that later.
Last. And things
Ooh.
look even messier than last time.
Alice in
Buenos
Albedo!
Aires. Shall we begin?
What is with that hat?
There's no rush, and I'd like to catch up with an old friend first.
I love her design,
And you,
but
young man?
what did she do to her hat?
Let's part ways here.
Okay. Bye, Scaramouche.
I have an old score of my own to settle.
I named him Logan in my game. So we know that Dottore is somewhere in, Actually, it's kind of weird that we didn't see Dottore in this trailer, now that I think about it. But I guess seeing Scaramouche Wanderer here is probably good enough. Alrighty. Let's go through this with a fine-tooth comb. It's time for the deep analysis. We're going to actually start at the end and work our way back. So, let's start with Scaramouche, Wanderer, Logan, whatever you chose to name him in your playthrough. So, he's obviously here to deal with Dottore, which is going to be basically a follow-up to his interlude quest line, because he still has a score to settle there, because Dottore is pretty much responsible for the death of his only close friend 400 years ago. And with the, was it Tadarasuna, with the forge or whatever that is, back when he was Kunigaboshi or whatever he was going on back then. So seeing Wanderer here is actually really important. And also we saw Durin earlier, and there was the events of Paralogism. Not the Paralogism, the events of Simolanka. He's tied to Durin, so it makes sense that we'd see Wanderer. we got to get all these plot threads that have been unresolved resolved by the time we get to Snezhnaya, so that's pretty much the whole purpose of this Not Cry storyline. So seeing Wanderer here, not surprising to me, but is a welcome addition. Alice's new design. Let's talk about that for a hot minute. What did she do to the hat? What is going on with her hair? This is ridiculous looking. Everything from the hat down looks great, which is sad because I am a hat collector and we talk about hats on the channel a lot, and I realized that I need to finish doing those shorts about my rating the hats in Genshin Impact, and I still need to update it after now Natlin and Fontaine are done. Maybe we'll wait for the end of Not Cry. After Snezhnaya, we'll redo it. Who knows? I gotta update that tier list. You can watch it all on the channel. It's all in one video. And I know that it wasn't shot very well, so like my webcam's covering up a bunch of shit, so I definitely want to redo that video at some point. But Alice being here is nice. She looks like an adult Klee, which is what most of us suspected she would look like. That being said, we don't know what Klee's dad looked like, so it was always possible that she looked more human, and that it was the dad that was whatever race the elf-eared people are. There's quite a few elf-eared people in the story, and we don't really have a lot of insight into who they are. Like, even the Frostmoon Scions, I think, have the elf ears, but we can, but they also have the antlers, so they're a little bit different, so there's some overlap, but I don't really know what's going on there. I like this hat, but it's a little bit ridiculous. You can see that it's got kind of like a little bit of a Dodoko tail thing going on, and she's receiving a letter here from who I assume is Varka. The Hexen Circle is allied with Mondstadt, and it would make sense that she's probably working with Varka. She is probably the de facto leader of the Hexen Circle, so she's tied up at least 2 of the 11 factions that are going to be playing a role here, and seeing her working with Wanderer here complicates things. Wanderer seems to be a lone agent here. I think some people might have been surprised by them because of all the 11 factions, Wanderer is kind of currently aligned with none of the 11 factions that were said to be present in Not Cry. Maybe they should have mentioned the Academia as a 12th faction, because we could have Wanderer representing that faction. Alright, Alice, Albedo being here, the events of Paralogism, he basically created Durin with the permission of Wanderer. It was mentioned that he did that with the permission of Wanderer, so Albedo has an established connection with Wanderer that we didn't get to see. It happened off screen. So getting to see them at least sharing some screen here together is pretty good. She's also on a boat. Alright, let's talk about Columbina for a bit. So, Columbina, 3rd of the Fatui Harbingers. I said we talk a little bit more about her now. So, she's listed as Moon Maiden in the description of this video, which means she 100% confirmed has ties to the Frost Moon, most likely. Or one of the Fallen Moons. She could be a Fallen Angel. There's like there's been a theory that she's like a Fallen Angel or a Seelie or something, and this might be confirmation of that, finally. The Frost Moon Scions want to prevent the Fatui from taking her from Not Cry, is what I basically understood, because we heard Sandrone talking about that. We'll cut to her in a bit. And as far as I could tell, this is also tying into what we were told very early on, that from I believe it was Tartaglia's voice lines, that the Harbingers ranked 3 and above, Columbina being 3, are all supposed to be as strong as gods. And if Columbina is, in fact, one of the moons, that might actually run parallel, since the moons were effectively one of the original gods of this world. But we already have a good frame of reference, because we saw Capitano basically fighting almost with Malvuiga as an equal, and then we saw how Arlecchino was, like, very insurmountable with the power of the Crimson Moon. So Columbina being slightly stronger than Arlecchino is something that should be looking forward to. This is also probably low-key confirmation that she's going to be playable, and I should probably mention that everybody in this trailer is probably going to be confirmed playable, which might be why Dottore specifically is absent from this trailer. So let's talk about that here. RIP Dottore lovers, your guy is probably not going to be playable, which is not me picking on you. I'm included in that. I was in the group of people that wanted Dottore playable. I thought that maybe he would make more segments and we get one of his segments being playable, but we don't even get that in this trailer. So we have this mysterious character. I don't know who he is. Let's pick a name from down here. If we're going in reverse order, we see in this reverse order, so maybe this is Kirill Kriminich Films? I need to go back to that previous trailer and see if that was a Nefer. Because that's supposedly the story that Varka was going to listen to, was Nefer's story. I know Maiden. Oh, right. So this, I'm assuming this is Krill. I'm gonna assume this guy is Krill. We saw you in another trailer. I think you might be Nefer. I don't know. Or maybe you're Nefer. There's another name here. Lauma? Maybe you're Lauma. Who do we see immediately after you? Oh no, we see you. Are you Lauma? Take aim at the stars. So this character, don't know who they are. Or maybe you're Jehoda? I don't know. Or no, Jehoda might be the girl with the goggles we see a little bit earlier. Sandrone! Sandrone, I mentioned a little bit earlier. The last time we heard mentioned of her was the fact that they were involved in the Curve questline in Fontaine. At the end of that questline, you find out that Jakob was basically had his tongue cut out and given to us in a letter. So I think she likes us. We're probably going to work with her at some point, and this might be the low-key confirmation that Sandrone will be playable. I'm super excited for that. There's a lot of theories about Sandrone I could talk about. One of the popular ones is their relation to the Narsenkritz Ordo questline. She might be Fontanian. If so, it's a little bit sad that she wasn't involved more in the Fontaine questline. I theorize that she's probably one of the top 2 candidates that'll be bringing the Pyronosis from Natlan. So I've actually changed my thoughts on this over the time being. I said that we were going to meet Sandrone here. We're probably going to meet all the Fatui Harbingers. We were told that due to the Pale Star Edict, all of the Fatui Harbingers have been summoned to Krai, so all of them are here. The fact that we only see Sandrone might be sad confirmation, or at least just confirmation that... Maybe I should reiterate what I said during Columbina. I said that we're probably not getting Dottore playable because he's not in this trailer, but that's because he's in this region and he's not in this trailer. But as for the Fatui Harbingers, I'll give the copium to the people who want it. We are still going to Snezhnaya after this, so in that trailer, or not even in that trailer, so in Snezhnaya, characters that might not be playable during the Krai cycle of patches might become playable in the Snezhnaya cycle of patches. So just because you don't see a Fatui Harbinger here doesn't mean that they won't be playable. Like, we already saw from the previous trailer for The God's Limits that Piero is actually here too. But this does mean that, since we know that Piero is currently in Krai, we know that Sandrone is already in Krai, we know Dottore is already in Krai, and we know Columbina is already in Krai, that narrows the options of which Fatui Harbinger is going to show up in Natlan to take the Gnosis, and I actually have a new theory about that I've come up with recently. I think before we leave for Krai, or before we leave for Snezhnaya, I think Malvika will actually entrust us with the Gnosis. And then maybe at some point down the line, we will trade it to the Fatui for some end goal, where they'll give up on their thing and we give them the Pyronosis in exchange. That's my prediction. So, that's going to be that moving forward. We could talk more about Sandrone, but I want to move forward because I don't want this to be a 30-minute video. I'm not Arnold, I'm not Murderer Birds. I don't have 45 minutes worth of notes to just spit at you. I have a really, really good memory, but for the most part, I'm just going off of what I find really fun. And of course she speaks in that posh attitude, a laughably futile rebellion. I guess we could talk about the rebellion for a bit. So the fact that she's speaking about a rebellion from the Frostmoon Science means that the plot line, or at least part of the plot line, seems, because we know what the Fatui's goal is, they're trying to here to retrieve Columbina. We learn from Columbina that the moon is about to fall, which is really, really bad. And then the Frostmoon Scions are rebelling against the Fatui, which means that they are trying to prevent the Fatui from retrieving Columbina from here, which means they might be trying to prevent the moon from falling, and the Fatui just don't give a care left or right. So there's a whole lot of interesting stuff going on with that storyline, and I really can't wait for it. This is the guy I thought was Krill again. He's in the cemetery, and then he gets summoned by the blonde lady, I'm assuming, or the Frostmoon Scion lady with the purple hair, whose name I don't remember. We get this speech about the 3 moons. This is lore that has been long established, that there used to be 3 moons, 2 of them fell, and then there's also possibly a fourth moon, or the Welkin moon, or the new moon, whatever it is. And then there's also the Crimson moon. Technically, there's a lot of moons. We don't really know which moon refers to which. Like, Raiden Shogun has the title of the Baleful moon. Don't know which moon she's referencing there. A lot of these moons go by multiple names, so it's actually really confusing in the lore, and it's really hard to piece it all together. Alright, here we go. These characters here. So Durin, first met in Simulanka, is a toy version of Durin created by Anders' daughter, one of the Hexen Circle members. And then through the events of paralogism, we human transmutation them to get to a human form. And this is our first look at their crazy-ass looking design. It kind of reminds me of a clown almost. Or like the Kingdom Hearts logo, the Heartless emblem on his chest. And then this character, because she's met really early in the trailer, I think this might be Jehoa. I like her design. She's probably the Crumb Cake Workshop character. I'm only going off assumptions because she has goggles and we're in a workshop. But we also see Inefa in the background here. Really cool design. I really like Inefa's design. People have been comparing her to Noelle. She does look a lot like Noelle. I actually do see the resemblance, and I understand why people are making that. But I love this cute little TV guy. He's so cool. She's going to be on the banner in 3.8. Or, sorry, 5.8. I got 3 on the menu because I play Star Rail. Still stuck on the mind. Long conversations. She seems cute. I wonder if she's new 4-star. I'm guessing Geo. I actually should be looking for visions on these characters, but I have not been paying close enough attention. Wait, what was her eyes? She has star eyes. Okay. This is who I assume is Aino, because we effectively see her first, and she's like one of the first names. And the narration is probably Nicole. Aino, Varka, Nicole. Which means Inefa, Durin, Sandrone, which means that this character here, after Sandrone, this is probably Lauma? Which would that make this character here Nefer then? I just realized we have less names than characters in this trailer. Okay. So one last thing I guess I should do is this character here, whose name escapes me. I watched the other trailer, but I did not read the description of the other trailer. So let's look at that real quick. So this is Lauma. Okay. So you are Lauma. That being said, the only other person who talks in this trailer is you, so you could be Lauma. So there's 2 characters in this trailer, but this also kind of looks like a generic NPC design, so this might not be who I think they are. So this is probably Lauma, then. Alexandria Gulf. So this has been fun. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover in this trailer. And I think that's, I think we'll just start wrapping it up here. Wow, we talked about a 5.5-minute trailer for almost a half hour. Ugh. Well, anyway, thank you everybody for stopping by to watch this. I'll try to have this out in a timely manner. I have a bunch of other videos that I'm currently editing or uploading. I have one that's actually set to upload, but I'm going to actually delay it so that we put this out first. And I'm excited for Krai. I'm actually so excited for Krai that I still actually haven't watched the trailer for... I haven't really looked at a lot of what's coming up in the 5.8. So we're going to be doing that probably in 9 days, I think is when it comes out, or 8 days. So much that I still need to do. If you want to see any other content that we have on this, we're doing a playthrough of the story of Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. That's going to be uploaded shortly. I'm going to be streaming the final part of it in a day or so. I'm just finished uploading most of the Fate playthrough of the Fate collab in HSR, so keep an eye out for that in the channel. That's probably going to be the most recently uploaded stuff. And I do plan on playing through the combat event. I don't know how much of that we'll record and upload, because combat events tend to be a little bit on the boring side, just for watching personally. I don't like editing them. And then, I guess I did try out the new endgame in Genshin. I think it's fine. I think people complain about it too much. I'm never going to complete it on any difficulty higher than hard, but it's fine. I see a Minslift trailer in the corner, and maybe I'll watch that on my own time, but I guess I'm going to try to speed through editing this before I have to leave in 2 hours. Or I guess we've been chatting about this video for a half hour, so I only now have an hour and a half to edit and get this video uploaded, so. Stay safe, everybody. Follow me on Discord if you'd like to stay informed on what I'm doing when I'm doing it. And links are where links are. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.